Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to my show, Black and White, a podcast autobiography. This is your host, Jordan Black, and today I've got my guest. Well, I guess I can't really call you my guest because she owns the place that I'm living in. My mom, Melissa Littleton. How's it going, Mom?
It's going good.
Yeah, this is a weird interview, right? Because I can't be like, so, how you been? So, I mean, I ask you every day.
Yeah,
whenever
every
I come.
day.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah, I ask you as soon as you come in, hey, how was your day?
And then next is what's for dinner.
Yeah, immediately.
Immediately after.
Yeah. There's not a lull.
No.
Yeah, you don't have time to fucking put your purse down.
You're like, well, I was about to tell you about my day.
Well, no, I listened to your day, how your day was.
I know. It's pretty boring.
Yeah, usually. I mean, I ask you every day.
I keep it short, so
Yeah.
I don't bore you with the details.
I mean, like, unless if you like get pissed off by somebody at your work, then you will talk to me about it,
Rant.
and then it ends up being like, all right, well, let's just clear my calendar for the rest of the day,
Right.
Because I'm fucking. This is just. I'm
I
gonna
just
talk.
don't. I don't think we should use any names on anybody I rant with. Though.
Okay, we won't. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
to protect them.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I don't think we'll go into that yet.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't even think it's I don't know. Anyway, so
I want to run for president one day, so I have to make sure that everything I say
yeah.
cannot be used against.
So I shouldn't mention all the baby seals
Absolutely
that you club.
not. No.
Okay, good.
And nothing that the CPS will come for.
Okay.
Either. All that stuff.
I mean, I'm 19, so I don't think the CPS gives a
think?
fuck about me.
I don't think they would feed you.
You could-
honestly.
Yeah.
I think they'd be like, this kid
Hey, shit, this fat
right
fuck.
here. All he does is talk and eat. What the hell?
Can we just put him somewhere isolated?
I tried in the closet, and that's why they came and got you.
Yeah. Can we lobotomize this kid just to shut him the fuck up?
I mean,
please?
ever since you were little, you woke up like, I had a dream about da-da-da, and I would just think, like, please, shut up.
You know, that actually brings me into an interesting topic that I wanted to
Oh.
talk about, the whole dream thing, because, you know, I think you have. I've told you this story several times about what my worst dream, my scariest dream ever was, and it's not like I
feel
get
very loved when you tell me this, though. Although it's like heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's so sad.
It's heartbreaking to hear like your biggest fear, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I kind of feel like, hey, I totally won.
Yeah. But anyway, so my worst like nightmare I've ever had in my life was I had a dream where I was asleep, and then I woke up in my dream, which is something that I don't do very often. I don't wake up from asleep while I'm asleep. It's just it's a very bizarre kind of like oxymoronish, thing to happen in a dream. That doesn't usually happen for me. And I woke up, and it was in this.
My last name is an oxymoron.
Littleton? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Littleton. Yeah.
Can't have one of those.
Yeah, I mean, it's a relative term. I mean, like
Like
tonnage might not be a big term for
Like
like
if you're
giants.
saying ton, you should actually mean like
Yeah.
a ton.
Anyway, so
Okay.
I woke up, and it was in a very bizarrely like futuristic house. I mean, it was like futuristic in my eyes whenever I was like 4 or 5, whenever I had this dream. But it was like
So had a garage door that worked, huh?
probably and a microwave that spins.
Whoa, fancy,
Man,
fancy.
you don't have to spin it with your hand every 15 seconds. Anyway,
We'll get a good
Yeah,
one
we'll
one
talk,
day.
yeah.
When you make it big.
yeah, I'll buy it.
Thank
for
you.
I'll buy you a
appreciate that.
motor to put in your fucking. Your
Can you
fucking
give me
microwave.
some wheels for my dishwasher too?
Hey, I already did that.
Well, thank
I only got you. I only got you half the amount we needed.
Yeah.
But I didn't think we needed
Hey.
6. I
I
figured
feel
you'd
like
buy a
I feel
set.
like it counts as working out.
Okay.
Like when I lifted up. Sorry.
So
go.
dream.
Yes.
Yeah, we're getting sidetracked.
It happens.
I was in a very futuristic house, and I was like looking around, and I noticed like the beds were in the wall. I woke up inside of a wall basically, but it was like just like a nook where you like kind of like just lay down and you roll over into your nook. And I woke up, and then I noticed like there were 2 other little nooks in the same area, which it was like a big fucking like it was like 30 or 40 feet to the ceiling in this room that I was in. And there were like stairs in the wall, but there wasn't like a railing. It was just kind of like slabs of stone in the wall. Which, whenever I think about it, I have a great mind for architecture and design.
That's why you're
because
really
this is
good
a sexy
at Minecraft.
looking. This is a sexy
You're
looking.
really good at Minecraft.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah,
all
it's
the
a
time.
sexy looking room. Whenever I think about it, because I'm like, damn, that would have been a badass like retro fucking like looking thing. Anyway, so I see 2 nooks, and
Or
then
maybe it's just like that childhood want to always have like a 2-story house.
maybe it wasn't even 2 stories. It was
You
just
know what I
it was
mean?
one
Like
story.
stairs always means fancy.
Yeah. And so I see 2 people come out of these nooks, and it was like an older girl, like probably 13, and then a younger boy who was probably like around my age. And I was like, they didn't say anything about it. I didn't, they didn't say anything about it, but they were my brother and sister. And I knew that in my dream. But at the same time, like, I still knew that you were my mom, and I didn't have any brothers and sisters, but they were acting as though I was their little brother. And so I see them, and they kind of come down, and I don't remember much of the dialogue that took place between me and the two of them. And then my parents came out, which was like kind of the stereotypical, like, Dad's like, "Hey son, how's it going? You want to go out and play some catch later?"
Was he wearing a sweater vest?
Yes, he was. That's exactly, yeah, with like the weird design, the cross,
I have sweater vests.
Yeah,
sweaters like that.
I know. And he's got like the brown hair that's like combed over, pretty much like I have mine now.
You have a dad haircut.
I do, because it fucking works. It works for me. But then I've got then the woman comes around, and she's stereotypical housewife from the 50s looking.
Was she wearing a dress?
No, she wasn't. She was wearing pants. But she was wearing like a blouse that was like a pinkish white. I wouldn't say it was either white or pink. It was more on the white side than pink. And then it had like flowers or fruit on it that was a red or pinkish looking color, and it was just very, yeah. Anyway, so and I remember like I said, I don't remember the dialogue that took place between any of us, but it was kind of that generic like sitcom-y like, "Hey, how's it going, son?"
Yeah. Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah, for the day we got dinner.
Do you know what Leave It to Beaver is?
No, I'm not as old as you.
I know. That's what's.
Yeah.
I can't even talk to you sometimes.
No, but and it was just very like, breakfast is on the table, like that kind of thing. He's got a paper under his arm, and
a pipe.
he's kind of holding. No, he's not smoking that early in the day.
Oh.
And I mean, it's like
He's
probably
classy.
7:30 in the morning, I would guess. And he's got his arm around her, and it's just kind of like, "Oh, look how happy our family is." And I'm like, "Who the fuck are you people?"
Right.
And it was terrifying. I was like, "Where the fuck is my real mom?"
Like all these wonderful,
people just
nice people that are
But
like the ideal parents.
It's scary.
It is scary.
It was
You're
scary
welcome.
to me.
You're welcome.
But it was just that if you were an idealistic like housewife and you had a husband, it wouldn't be whatever. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, my mom's single, so I mean, yeah. If you want to get on this, just email me and I'll pass on the information. If dick pics are always encouraged.
That's weird.
Nah. Well, I'll just keep them for my personal archive then. Anyway.
Yeah, do that.
But
you did from like a very young age you wanted to make a website. Who Wants to Date My Mom? That was like before eHarmony or whatever, Match.com.
Yeah,
or what are all the other ones now? They got all
Christian
kinds.
Mingle,
Yeah.
Farmers Only.
Farmers Only. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mustlovedogs.com.
We can't leave out the Jewish one.
JDate.
JDate.
Yeah. Anyway.
JSwap?
No, it's JDate.
JSwipe?
Anyway. So the dream was just really scary, and I'd gone out of the house, and I remember like the layout of the house. Whenever I left, there was like a kind of a porch on the right side as I walked out, but it wasn't like the house was much smaller looking at it. Like it was kind of like the inside of Mary Poppins' bag, where it's just like endless shit can go in there. But I mean, it's very small whenever you look at it. So I came out of the house, and there was like a porch kind of thing on the side that just had like a couple of lawn chairs on it, and that was it. It wasn't like it was anything nice on there, or like a swing set or anything. And then there was like bushes in front of it, and then I walked, and there was like a wall on the left that was like the garage on the other side of the wall. And I walked out about 15 feet, and then you took a left, and the garage was right there, and there was a car. There wasn't a car on the spot closest to me on the right, but there was one on next to that spot on the left if you're looking out of the house.
It's still very vivid for you.
It is. It's super vivid because it was just kind of like a really traumatizing, but I wouldn't say trauma. It's not like I'm like terrified now thinking about it. It's just like I remember it very
we
very
did that
vividly.
raising you.
And
waking
anyway, so I had like I walked out, and as I was like walking out of the house, like where the fuck am I? I realized that all the houses were the same, and so like it wasn't it was very much like Edward Scissorhands, where it's just that kind of like weird, just dystopia where everything is the same looking and
I like that word.
Everyone,
dystopia.
Yeah, I mean I'm smart. I know words, but so I left, and you could tell like there was like the same cars in the driveways and stuff like that. They were all kind of generically designed. And so I like was walking out and I saw you like on the sidewalk right in front of where, like, if I were to keep walking, and the pathway that leads out of our house isn't one of those ones that leads straight to the sidewalk. It goes out and then it curves around to the driveway, and so it doesn't go all the way out. That's how vividly I remember it. And
Seriously,
so,
you're
yeah,
giving
I
a
can
lot of
see,
details about.
I can see. I'm trying to paint
a mental picture
I'm
for sure.
painting a word picture, and so I see you standing on the sidewalk looking at me, and you're like have your arms out like come be with me. And I was like, Mom, and I was like freaking the fuck out because I didn't know who the fuck I was with. I didn't know how long it had been since I'd seen you. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So I was like, all right, cool. And I ran at you and I went to like hug you, and you fucking turned to ash in my
disappeared.
Yeah, in my arms. And so then I was like, what the fuck? And I freaked out for a little bit, and I looked around and I saw you down the street to the right, looking away from the house to the right. Down the sidewalk a little bit, 15 feet, and I ran and did the same thing, and it carried on like that all the way down the sidewalk for like every 15 feet. And then, like, there were probably 4 houses to the right of our house, like if you're looking out of the house. And then it's just like trees at the end of it, and then the street that we're on curves around, but there are no houses on the opposite side of the street. From where our neighborhood is. It's just an empty field. And so
like the Minecraft world stops.
No, it's an empty field.
Oh, okay.
And so I had walked out there, and I was like looking around, and I saw one last one of you, and I ran and hugged you, and it was just, and then I saw you flying away in a helicopter, and you were like in the door of the helicopter holding on to it, and you were just kind of like waving at me like, bye, I can't see you, any, like that kind of thing. And I didn't know what the situation was. It was kind of like I knew that you had to leave me there. Like it wasn't like a thing where you wanted to, but it was a thing where I was like, this
was there
is the
part of you
best
that
decision.
was ticked off that like you didn't get to ride in the helicopter with me?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it was just more upset about losing me.
Yeah, it was pretty upsetting.
Do you think you love me or something?
Yeah, I guess.
Yes.
But yeah, and that was like the most scary dream I ever had as a kid. I remember there was one.
You were a fearful child.
I mean, yeah, I was a like nervous. I was an anxious kid. I was like,
any kind of you had a lot of nervous energy. You still do.
Yeah.
Like fidget with your hands and stuff like that.
Yeah, and tie my leg.
Like you picked your lip all the time, and I'd have to be like, stop picking your lip. And then I had to hide like the Twister DVD case.
Yeah, because it scared me.
Yeah, any natural disaster, you would freak out. And I remember driving in the car, and you're like, this is not good. This is not good. And I'd be like, it's just dark clouds. It's not even raining. And the next thing you know, it would come just crashing down.
Yeah.
I thought you were one of those kid like
clairvoyant. Yeah, right.
Well,
like
there was
ESP.
a point. Yeah.
Yeah, where I was like talking to ghost children and stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, that's a good way to just kind of get started. So we'll go into the intro sequence really quickly. Intro. Damn it, you guys! I mean, seriously, it's been almost a month of us doing this shit, and you have yet to get us an intro. I'm really getting sick to this. I mean, how difficult is it to call some guy that fucking, works at the radio station and go, hey, do you do music, or do you know anybody who can do music? And you fucking ask them, hey, can you make me intro song? Yet you never do. You never fucking do. Fine, I will do the intro music one more time, but I swear to God this is the last time. There you go. All right, let's start the fucking show. All right, thank you, Nikolai. I appreciate that again, and I'm really sorry about me not getting any intro music. I think it's just because the bit of you getting pissed off at the beginning of each show is just really enjoyable. Fuck you too. Yeah, so like I said, we're here with my mom, Melissa Littleton, if any of you are just tuning in.
I don't know about this Nikolai guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
And I mean, he's in our house. And
I swear to God.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and talk about you a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Because I think today we're going to cover like the earlier years. Because, of course, there's no way we could possibly cover you and I's entire life, my entire life with you, in one episode.
No.
So this is definitely going to be like a series where you'll come back like once a month or once every 2 months or something like that.
Like a period. Like it's exciting. Like, hey, I'm not pregnant.
but it's also
bad.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll just
But
come
you
on
get to
my
eat
show.
chocolate. You get to eat chocolate and stuff.
There's no chocolate here. Way to go.
It's the worst.
Yeah. So let's talk about you before me.
Oh, wow.
Let's talk a little bit.
Oh. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from the stories you've told me, doesn't seem like too far off from what you were.
Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah, I know. Truth hurts.
It's going to be... So we're talking about me.
Yes. Well, I mean, like, just for this point, I mean, it's important to kind of set up who you were before you
Okay.
had me. So talk about yourself.
Oh, Jordan, before you, I had it all in front of me. I'm just kidding.
Before you, my life was fucking rad.
It was wonderful.
All the drugs you could do.
Yes.
Even after I had you, I mean, there was still a ready plethora amount of drugs.
But it's so weird to think about it.
Yeah, because no one ever asks you that question, do they?
No.
Yeah. Like...
It was, you know what? I was one of those people, and I wouldn't say I was self-centered or self-involved. Everything worked out for me.
Yeah, you didn't have to worry about anyone else.
Yeah, I really didn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I am.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I also didn't really give a lot of thought to what I said. I just...
You still don't.
It. I don't. I really don't.
Still don't.
But now I care about what it does to other people. Like then,
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that it had an effect on other people, or whatever.
Whatever.
Oh yeah.
It's just whatever.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
But I had a wonderful, wonderful life. I mean, I had a great childhood. I was involved in stuff.
Yeah.
I was in theater.
Mm-hmm. That's something that you and I,
Yeah.
and William and my dad share.
Mm-hmm. But I got kicked out of theater.
Because you got
pregnant
knocked up.
with you,
Yeah.
Okay, that still
Yeah,
includes
we're too
you.
far- yeah. Well, I mean, it
includes
doesn't matter. I mean, just, I'd like to give them an idea of who you were.
you. Okay,
Because all
Okay.
5 of my listeners
So-
really give a shit.
this goes way back to me.
Way back.
But I think it
It all started.
was my... Can I tell this story?
Yes, you can tell anything you want. This is
okay.
podcasting is the most free medium you can possibly have.
So, it was first day of kindergarten, and we went into the gym, and they told us, like, everybody, find the letter on the wall that starts with your last name starts with. And it had a lion for Littleton, and I was like, okay, I'm killing this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I'm the fucking lion.
I don't know a lot of letters. I'm in kindergarten, but I'm the lion. So, and I was like, yes, okay. So I line up right there by, in front of the L for lion. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a kindergarten, and I'm crushing it. and they said, okay, now everyone sit on your tushies. And that's when everyone sat down in the gym, and I was standing there. My mother called our private parts tushies. So I'm sitting there watching everybody sit on their butts, right? That's what we called it. And I thought, oh my God, everyone's tushies in the back and mine's in front. And so I was like mortified, like, how come me and my sisters have tushies in the front and everyone else is in the back?
We're different.
Like, what? Yeah, I was different.
Yeah.
For like this second, all of a sudden, I was just like, whoa. So, being the kindergarten that I was, quick on my feet, I was like, okay. First, I actually tried to sit on my tushy a little bit because I wanted to follow the rules.
Or your butt?
My front.
Your front.
Like almost like a splits.
Yeah, that's what I was imagining.
Yeah.
I mean, like, then I don't even think they would think it was like...
They were like, what is she doing?
They wouldn't be like, that little kid is trying to sit on a twat. Like, they weren't going to think that. They were just going to think, like, oh, this little girl is, like, super fucking just vivacious. And she's just like, boom! That's what, I stand out, and now I'm going to do the splits. Like, I feel like that's what they would think it was. I don't even think any of them...
But then when I realized I couldn't do the splits because I was chubby and not flexible.
You and me both, sister.
I was like, oh, crap. I guess I got to sit on my butt and pretend my tushy's in the back,
Yeah, just like...
I was like, I was pretending to be someone I wasn't already, first day of kindergarten. And so I got home and I was like, hey, Mom, how come everyone else's tushy's in the bag and me and my sisters are in the front? And you got to, what the hell happened? Like, why are we even talking about tushies? You know? Like, did someone touch your private parts?
Yeah. There's a lot of questions that have to fly.
Oh, yeah. And you know Mimi.
Yeah.
So she was asking a lot of questions. And so that was definitely.
So that was whenever you had to have the tough talk that you actually do have a tushy on your back and not on your front.
Well, that's what Mom said. You know, people call it all different things.
Your life is a lie.
And that's why I always called your private parts by its name.
Your dick.
I didn't call it that.
There are people listening to this going, oh my God. He talks to his mother like that. Ugh.
I know.
I mean, I'm 19. I'm a grown-ass man. I don't cuss at you. And
if you ever did.
It's the main rule.
I feel so sorry for you if you ever did.
Yeah. Man, I'm fucking solid as a kid. I mean, like, you're like...
I just don't want this used against me in a court of law. If I actually have to whack you, then they're going to be like, oh, he must have cussed.
I mean, like, she said that she would totally just assault him if he ever cussed at her.
Proof.
So, I mean...
This is proof.
He was just telling us that he cursed at her and then she hit him. I mean, this is pretty cut and dry of a confession right here.
I feel like I've put enough fear in you that you would never do that.
Yeah, just enough like deep-seated fear of my own mother.
Yes.
That where I just would never try to ever stand up for myself.
Where you'll accept hugs from me, but you're kind of scared that I might like snap your neck.
I mean, let's face it, you're like 5'4" and I'm 6'1".
I'm 5'3", but thank you.
5'3", yeah, good for you. I gave you the extra inch.
I think it's because sometimes I levitate.
Yeah, a little bit maybe. I don't know. I just don't think I'm very good at telling height. Or age. Honestly, like, whenever I look at somebody, I don't have a good, like, idea of how old people are. Because
Because you grew up with a young mother.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Totally. And I mean, like, my entire life, like, my dad always had friends that were different ages.
Yes.
And so it's not even like
Yes.
I just associated my dad's age with these people's ages. So, I mean, so now
and
whenever
your dad still wears, like, armbands.
Yeah.
And, like,
I mean, he's in a band. So, I mean, it's kind of...
Yeah, right. So there are...
Yeah. So
huge
anyway,
differences on how you grew up, even seeing other people. Even your grandparents were
young,
like
cool.
the age of some of your friends' parents.
Yeah, I mean, my grandparents right now are like, what, Pop is getting close to 60, or is he 60?
Oh yeah, he's over 60.
Oh wow, yeah, and isn't Mimi like a year or two younger than he is? Or were they in the same age group? Were they in the same?
Well, I think they're
grade?
2 years younger.
Okay, but yeah, so it's very bizarre, having like very young parents.
Yeah, and your grandparents were younger, and
they weren't like.
So we totally screwed you up.
Yeah, as far as being able to tell people, because I was at work.
I mean, it's not like you're gonna do that in a circus, like guess people's age.
Yeah, I was at work the other day, and I was like talking to this girl, this woman who works there. I say girl, she's a woman. She's like my size. She's a big woman. I mean, like, and I'm not saying that like bad, but she's just like, she looks like a corn-fed like Nebraska woman, like just a Viking lady. Yes. She's like my size, like as far as height, and she's fucking just stocky.
Yeah,
you know. And her name's Candy. Which every time I see her, I think I just associate her name with strip clubs. Every time I see her, I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the cash register at the Roanoke Home Depot, Candy. But yeah, anyway. So I was talking to her and I was like, yeah, I thought that this lady over here was like maybe 22, 23. It turns out she's like 30. And then Lauren, she's like, I thought she was like my age, like 19 or 20, and she's 28. And then she was like, how old do you think I am? And I was like, I don't know, like 34. And she was like, I like you. And I was like, what? I was like, am I under? And she's like, yeah, by a lot. I was like, how old are you? She's like, 45. I was like, holy shit. She was like, so thanks. And I'm like, well, I mean, I've already guessed a bunch of people wrong. So don't be pissed off. Don't feel like it's a compliment. I mean, that's what I thought.
I sometimes lie about my age and say I'm 10 years older than I am, so that when they do the math on your age,
they don't judge you.
That they don't judge me for being like.
That's not usually the reason people lie about their age.
And that I'll get instantly, I'll get a compliment. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, you look so good. I'm like, thank you. And then I say I have a almost 20-year-old son, and they're like, wow. Oh, man,
that's so age appropriate.
It is.
You totally waited until you were 27 to have a kid.
If I tell them that my real age, and then my son's almost 20.
My kid's over half my age.
This is the. I mean, they act like, oh my god,
your life is so difficult. That's exactly how it is.
I know. And then they go, oh, that's too young. And I'm thinking, like, he's almost 20. Like,
I made it.
Yeah, I made it. He's made it. We're good.
We're fine.
Yeah, we're better than fine.
It's like seeing someone after like a war and being like,
awful.
"Were you okay?" I mean, like, well, I'm
God.
fucking here. Yeah, I'm okay.
It's a weird reaction.
Yes.
So I totally tried to avoid it sometimes because it's just a lot.
Remember at Christmas?
It's been a lot. It's been 20 years of it, right?
Oh yeah. Remember at Christmas? Whenever I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I think it was last year. Where we were all kind of doing the thing where it was like everyone say something about like your year.
Yes, it was last year.
And it's a hilarious story. I love telling.
Oh, it's the worst.
'Cause-
in front of all my Southern
Baptist
family.
And so I was basically like they were going around and people were talking about like, oh yeah, me and what's her face had a baby, or oh yeah, I just published a book, like shit like that.
Wonderful
and I mean,
stuff.
it's not like there wasn't stuff going on in my life that was like cool. I mean, like I had fucking graduated high school, I started college, I was getting a lot of good feedback on my comedy was doing really well, and
You
I
rented that
had
theater?
Yeah, well that was like 2 years
year before.
2 years before that, yeah. But
It all just flies by so fast.
yeah,
for me.
slow down, life. And then I had also like written a television show, and I was like trying to get people to produce it and stuff. And I mean, like there was some big shit going on. But whenever they came to me, I stood up and was like, I didn't get anyone pregnant this year, so all right. And I sat down,
Yeah.
and it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it was just I didn't say it like this, but now that I think about it, I'm sure that there was an interpretation from some of them going like, haha, he won. Against you. Like, haha. Like, they probably thought I was like, haha, bitch, I still have all the advantages in life.
And they're all like, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
I mean, like, it's not like
I was just thinking like, oh my god.
what a fucking idiot.
Shit.
There's my
But
kid.
then I was totally excited. Like, yes,
Dude.
we are not.
Up top.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not
I'm not
because...
a grandmother, and we stopped the teen pregnancy thing
I mean, I'm
with
19.
this generation.
I'm
with
19.
my own only me.
We've got another 2 months for me to ruin it.
I know, but the gestation period is 9 months. So
I mean, I wouldn't
technically,
have a kid,
if
but
you
I would-
got
I would-
pregnant, or if you got someone pregnant today, you would be 20 years old when
Whenever you had them.
had the child. So I feel like even if it happened right now, I would still
Yeah.
win because
Yeah, by
Just-
raising a kid who didn't end up knocking somebody up so early. I don't even think it was a matter of me being like doing a good job. I think it's just the fact that no one wants to fuck me.
no one.
Yeah,
No
so
one.
that's wonderful.
Hey, ladies, my son here is single. You can email me pictures, twat pictures, boob pic. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
go for
I don't
it.
want those at
Yeah.
all. That would be so gross, and I would judge you, and you would never come in my house, ever.
Yeah, so just a rule of thumb: never
I'll
send my
hate you
mom
on spot.
nudes. Don't send my mom nudes if you're planning on being wife material.
Yes.
I mean, that's just I feel like that it should go without saying. But
I
you'd
will.
be surprised
I think when I actually meet more girls that you bring home,
because I don't bring girls home.
well, you know what I mean.
I just
do them in
fuck
the
them
back
in
seat
the back
of my
seat of the
car.
and then
Yeah,
I just-
like
I let
a
'em go.
gentleman, like your mom taught you. That sounds weird that your mom would teach you that, but
Yeah.
that's pretty close to where you were conceived.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've gotten off from the
Yeah.
the main idea of the show, but who cares? I mean, like, it's a podcast. Like I said, it's a very free medium. So I mean, like, it's my fucking show. No, I'm not answering to anybody, so I could just talk about whatever the fuck I want. So it's not like if I'm like, yeah, let's talk about the early years, and then we just go off on a
Yes.
tangent for 35 minutes, 40 minutes.
Well, you can't
No
keep
one's
this on
gonna-
track.
No one's gonna complain. Yeah.
You cannot keep this on a track.
Yeah. But anyway.
That's why I'm still single.
So, anyway, let's talk about your pregnancy in high school, because that's a very interesting and provocative thing to talk about.
It was tough.
Yeah.
I did get kicked out of things because I chose to have you. Sorry, my voice is cracking.
No, yeah. I mean, like, this is what,
It's just like we went straight from
It's life,
laughy to
yeah.
like snap me back into one of
I
the
know.
most difficult times.
Yeah, this is what makes me a great podcast host.
I wasn't gonna cry.
I bring out the emotion. I bring out the real life emotion. Trust me, there's so many more things I could talk about with you that would just be like, oh man, such real life
Yeah.
things that would be great for
Yeah.
great drama, and we'll definitely talk about them.
I'm sure we will. There's really nothing off the table.
Yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, what like
I mean, literally, there's nothing off the table. I wish you would clean this table up.
how early you had me whenever it was like I was conceived in like
Yes.
January, right?
New Year's.
Yeah.
We were New Year's conception.
Boom.
Yes.
And
We were like ringing in the new year.
that was your junior year of high school, right? That
Right.
New Year's, 'cause
And I just moved back, and your dad had just moved back from Cleburne.
Yeah.
So I was in Plano. He was in Cleburne. I mean, we had gone to middle school together. In fact, he was Sissy's.
Yeah, she was in 8th grade.
Boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I remember I hated him. He'd come and knock on the door, and he'd go, "Is Christy here?" Yeah. I'd close the door and go sit down back down on the couch, and Christy would come around the corner like, "Who was at the door?"
No, I don't know, some
Yeah.
douchebag.
Pretty much. And then she'd be like, "It was Joey. Why didn't you tell me?" I'm like, because I didn't like him.
Who cares?
Yeah, and I just, I thought he was arrogant and self-centered and stuff
Man.
like that. But it just
who would've
goes to
thunk
show you, like when you get in high school, that's the one you're attracted to.
Yeah.
That one with this confidence.
And that's why I don't get any. I'll keep telling myself that.
No.
Continue.
No, well, so I remember going and getting my like high school ID, and Joey was there, and he always was really muscular, and he had a
Yeah.
good body
He's
and
an
stuff
athletic
like
guy.
that. Yeah, his skin was awful in middle school.
Yeah.
but then it cleared up.
I mean, that's the story with a
it's
lot
that
of people.
time.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so he looked really good. And he goes, "Hey, remember me?" And I was still doing that whole like, whatever,
Yeah.
pretty much. Anyway, so we both were in a class called oral interpretation, and we took it literally.
Yeah. You interpreted it.
Yeah.
Very orally.
We did Taming of the Shrew, which is so ironic. And anyway, so we did some stuff like that together, and of course he played the guitar.
Yeah. I mean, that's just automatic dreamboat status.
My
It's
parents
just, ugh.
hated it because he looked like that guy Woody Harrelson from Natural Born Killer.
Yeah.
And I think he like
He made himself look like that
Right.
for football.
Oh, yeah.
He talks about that sometimes.
And he looked like a badass. He played guitar. My favorite was Jimi Hendrix, Star Spangled Banner style. I don't know why. I felt
Yeah.
very patriotic and horny at the same time.
Just getting
Go
it all-
America.
Yeah, getting a lady boner for Uncle Sam.
Yeah. Teen pregnancy, that's how it all starts.
Yeah, Uncle Sam.
It's just a mixture.
Of patriotism and guitar. And Jimi
Seriously. Serious.
And
And he was
acne.
just the star of the football team.
Yeah.
So he had all these wonderful qualities, and plus he was really charismatic and
What if he's listening right now?
can
and he's
tell a
just like,
story.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
right.
well, I mean,
Yeah, I'm
it's
awesome, I know.
not something
Yeah.
that he doesn't know.
Yeah,
Trust
of
me.
course.
I'm sure. I mean, his ego.
I mean, yeah.
his ego knows all of this.
Yeah.
But excuse me. So I was very just smitten with him, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought that everything he did was funny. He loved to make me laugh, which I love to laugh. I think that's like the key to keeping me entertained or like involved.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to have heavy conversations, and then I want to be able to totally laugh. And
Yeah.
he would make fun of me and, poke fun and stuff. And I was so perfect. It's like, who would do that, So
It was like a challenge.
Yes. Yeah. So it was really cool.
That's like picking up chicks 101. You insult
Make
them.
fun of them.
Yeah, you
It's
make
like
fun of
still
them.
playground stuff. Like
Yeah.
you chase them.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there were just a lot of things that I was attracted. I don't know if he even found qualities attractive in me
I mean, you were a pretty girl in high school. I've
because
seen
I
pictures.
was I was probably a basic bitch, honestly.
You were you were a
Yeah,
basic bitch.
a
I mean,
basic
I see
one.
pictures of you from that time, and I was like, yeah, you're fucking early 90s out. Like, you're just
Yeah.
every stereotype you could imagine about the
Yeah.
early 90s, you were that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was great. I was oblivious. I was completely
a
oblivious.
nice time.
But, and then we found out we were pregnant. And in fact, it was like really early on in the pregnancy. And so the first pregnancy test I took was negative.
Mm-hmm.
And I told
how
them,
early was it? Like a couple weeks? Or?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And I said, I don't know.
Did you have a feeling?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And I said, I still don't. And he was like, it said negative. We're okay. And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think so. And I guess part that gets hard is that we had, and you know this story already. So it's
I've already heard it.
So we had actually had an abortion scheduled.
Yeah.
And I was raised in the church, and I always thought that, like, I think for that minute, my dad's a loving man. Mm-hmm. I really thought he was going to kill me. I really thought if I did something like get pregnant without being married, and that he would kill me. And that just shows you, like, that teenage mentality too.
Not being able to see,
right, the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. Or so anyway, I was really scared to tell my parents, and but the day that we had the appointment scheduled, my mom came up to my high school and pulled me out of school. The office called me and said, your mom's here, and I thought something must be really wrong, And she drove me down the street to a soccer field, and we parked.
It's still there.
Mm-hmm, we parked under a tree, and
it's still there too.
Yeah, and my mom said, I have a feeling that you're pregnant. And I was. And it was the day that I would have made this decision that drastically changed my life. Mm-hmm. And I think that proves to me, like, that miracles happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That there is no way that you couldn't be in my life, or that I couldn't be in yours. That this was supposed to happen. And anyway, so I said yes, and then we went home, and my dad came home.
She gave you a Dr. Pepper, right?
She gave me a Dr.
That's
Pepper.
one of my. Honestly, I like that detail of the story so much.
But it's not the fact that you got life.
No, I mean, it's not even that. It's not even that I like Dr. Pepper. Mm-hmm. It's just the fact that that's something that, like, was like yours, and it's something that was like, you never realized how big that Dr. Pepper was.
That my mom came and gave me that Dr. Pepper and wanted to talk. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like whenever she handed you that Dr. Pepper, you were probably like, go. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you never thought, like, holy shit, there is a weight to that Dr. Pepper that is so much more than the 12 ounces of liquid inside of it.
Right.
It's just very interesting thinking about the magnitude of that Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. I loved seeing that soccer field too when
Whenever
we were playing on it.
Yeah.
It was wonderful to get to see that and
kind of be at that place. Yeah. It's almost like
it's really cool.
Like a sacred ground where life began and happened.
So it was wonderful.
Yeah.
And then my dad came home, and my mom told him, and I told him, and the first thing he did was hug me.
Yeah. Was it, like, scary, like, whenever he came home?
Yes.
Before you were like,
oh
fuck.
Because I thought he was going to either kill me or kill Joey.
Yeah.
I know,
and that's like that's the thing.
And so when he just hugged, and I thought, there's been tons of times, like, in our relationship where I thought, I just need you to give me the opportunity to surprise you, like, tell me what's going on. I may, be upset at first, or I may do that thing where I can't talk about it for a minute, but eventually, like, the next,
it's gonna seem like, okay, I'm glad I told this person.
Yes. And I want to help, and I want to do whatever I can, or
I find whenever I tell you stuff, like, immediately, it's usually not a big deal. And then if I keep stuff from you, it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it upsets me.
It
breaks my heart.
And I'm sorry. Yeah. So, because I remember, and the whole thing about, like, kids not being able to see the big picture, and, like, that kind of fear of not knowing what your parents are gonna do, and thinking, like, that they're gonna make this. And of course, there are parents who are fucked up, and, like, they they
actually will kick them out of their house, or
that. And it's a sad reality that there are people who.
Yeah, but I had no reason.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, Pop's a great guy.
Yeah, I had no reason to to fear telling them the truth or anything like that.
But I mean, it's just that kind of, it's something that big, like, oh shit,
Right.
this is like the worst thing that that I could be doing right now. You know?
Right, and if you look at like my track record up until this point,
you were fucking goody two shoes.
I
You
was.
were just
I mean,
squeaky clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, because like, I've had experiences with like that fear and not like
wanting to tell me,
and just thinking that you're gonna kill me for something. Like that's whenever I got a SACE in Spanish my freshman year, like that shit was fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Because it was so colossally bad that I couldn't imagine like what you were gonna say about it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so let's talk about when did you like start showing? Like when was it like a thing that like the public knew?
Well, I mean, it was so early at school because, I mean, number one, I had two sisters that went to the same school,
Yeah.
right? It was a small school.
Yeah, like Dallas. Like,
Yeah,
what was your
very
graduating
small.
class? Like 300?
No. Oh, no.
Oh, like
I want
60.
to say like 80,
Yeah.
maybe max. I can't even remember. Something crazy like that.
Mine was 600.
Yeah. I would have.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say I would have faded into the background, but I definitely wouldn't have had the same life that I had.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just you were friends with everyone. It's not like you were in a certain clique, and I'm sure other people that were in cliques thought, well, that's not the case. But I really felt like I was friends with a lot of people from all different walks.
That's
of life.
That's how I was in high school, and once again, most people, like a lot of people in my high school, would think like, "Fuck that guy." But then there was I had my toes in every group, and I was friends with the goth kids. And
I mean, I just don't think I was a
smokers and
great
skaters.
person then.
Yeah.
Like where I made efforts with a lot of people. It was just kind of like, hey, if you have a locker next to me, we're talking, or if we have a class. I mean, I didn't make an effort to meet everybody. But so your dad was in this class. Well, I guess it was considered a class, but it's called like PALS or whatever.
Yeah,
peer
PALS.
leader. It's like a peer leadership group.
And you like are friends with the
Right.
they go
So-
send you to kids. And you have
So
a
your
pal.
dad was involved in that, and he would go to schools, and of course he was on the football field, and all the kids were getting to watch him in their Falcon uniforms
their
and stuff.
Pee Wee
So a lot
uniforms.
of kids were looking up to
Yeah,
him, and
idolized
it was
him.
just a small town.
I know that's even how I was whenever I was a kid in that town. You know, we'd go to the games on Friday night,
Right.
Because we had games on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
And so we'd all like get on our jerseys, and they had little things before the games where
Yes.
you'd go out and they sit down your team on the certain yard line. And
I'm
you'd
glad
all
you
stand
had
up and
that
wave.
though.
Yeah,
like, I'm glad you had that small
it's a great
town,
memory. Yeah,
Americana.
Yeah, it was a
little
cute
life.
It was a cute
Yeah.
life. And I mean, there were just so many cool little things. It was like the Duck Inn would feed the kids if they wore their jerseys Sunday morning. The day after games, they would feed them for free. So we'd all me and Ashton Christian or Christian's Christian, yeah, it's Ashton Christian. And his mom would go down to the Duck Inn, because they live right next to it.
Yeah.
And we'd walk down to there and get free breakfast.
They were cool.
And it was such a cool time. I'm friends with them on Facebook. Yeah. But yeah, they were great
They're
people.
good people.
Yeah.
So
he was in PALS.
He told one or they were all sharing.
Yeah.
They were all in the PALS group and all back in the classroom and sharing. Talking about their meeting with the younger kids or what's going on in their life and things like that. And your dad said, "Hey, this is what's happening in my life right now. This is what I'm going through." And her name was Maybeth.
That sounds like just a cunt name.
No, I'm sure she didn't mean any. I mean, I'm sure there was no intent or anything like that on how it felt for me.
Yeah.
So I went to the lunchroom and our youth pastor used to come to lunches every once in a while, and everybody would kind of sit with them. And I wasn't super active in the youth group, obviously, because I was getting knocked up. Stay in church. Okay. No. But I remember seeing them all sitting at the table, and the youth pastor, like Maybeth, said something, and he turned around and looked at me, and I knew. I knew that other people knew. And I probably yelled at your dad or I mean, I don't know if I yelled at him or not, but I remember Maybeth telling the preacher and something that my family wanted to do, you know,
Yeah.
is go talk to them and let
Yeah.
them know what's going on with us. So it felt like a crumbling down for a minute. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't even, you know how other people like get to do the reveals and they do all this cute stuff, like here's a
Yeah.
sonogram
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
It
I
was
mean,
so early.
it was, yeah, it was, I mean, it was like everything was crashing down if you were looking at it, like being kicked out of athletics. And maybe I shouldn't say kicked out. Maybe I should say like asked to leave, or they felt like, and maybe I'm giving them too much credit, you know?
Maybe, yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
it might have been a completely malicious, like,
Well,
she
like
got
they
pregnant,
didn't,
she's
they
not-
didn't want that out
Yeah,
front, and
yeah.
other girls to look at it and it be acceptable. So they kind of were, I wouldn't say shunning me for the greater good or things
Yeah.
like that, but there were other girls that were pregnant too, and they just weren't telling anyone
Yeah.
yet. Mine was early, and Maybeth
Yeah.
decided to tell everybody.
Alicia Rose, she got.
Yeah.
So
she
that's
had-
that's
she
how
had-
much we've talked about this. I
She
know
had
the other
Weldon
girl
the
that had a
Wednesday
kid.
before. So he's exactly a week older than you. He was born on a Wednesday, and you were born on the following
Fucking
Wednesday.
Weldon Little.
he's always coming in first.
Yeah, dick.
No, I think
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
doing really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen him on Facebook. I'm not friends with him, but I like seen
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, I like seeing people succeed. I mean, it's not like I'm not the same person I
Yeah,
was.
yeah, and I don't.
and everything.
Yeah, I'm
but-
like that guy was a dick back then. I don't know him now.
Yeah.
he's got the potential to still be a dick, but he's also got the potential to be a better person. Which
Yeah.
I became a better person.
So
yeah,
here we go. So I'm in the lunchroom. Everybody knows it's like out there. I mean, I'm probably not even a month pregnant, Jordan.
yeah,
So I had my entire pregnancy in front of everyone, and I couldn't be excited because then people were like, "Oh, she got pregnant on purpose." Like, what? You don't even know me if you thought that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But my life was perfect.
yeah. Why would
You
I
know?
do that to myself?
Yeah.
yeah.
And I just thought it was ludicrous that people were, sometimes saying stuff like that, or
Yeah. It's just high school stupidity.
yeah. There was even one time a guy that came to me and he sent his friend and he said, "Hey, so-and-so just wants to know if it's his." And I thought that would be the longest pregnancy because I hadn't had sex with him for a long time. And I thought, wow, he really doesn't know how this
Man,
works.
you were not paying attention in health class, bro. That's
Yeah.
like a couple months,
Yeah.
probably about a dozen months
Yeah.
too late.
And I had a lot of, I thought I had a lot of guy friends. Like I thought I was, I mean, we were all so close.
yeah.
So, but I had a lot of guy friends that were like, "I'll help you raise this child," and
Yeah.
because they did not like Joey, they did not like him.
Yeah, that's how guy friends that are in love with you are.
Is that? I don't think
They're
they were
pretty.
in love with
They're
me.
malicious. If they're saying, "Melissa, I will raise this child with you," they're in love with you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just thought they
is
hated
this
Joey.
truly a?
Well,
Yeah. No. They wanted
yeah.
some of that.
I don't think
It's definitely a purely.
they're like, she can't get knocked up.
Yeah, that's perfect. You just fuck her for 9 months and
totally-
just raw dog the shit.
Totally works. No, but you were actually conceived using
Yeah.
birth control and condoms.
Yeah.
So you really are a miracle.
I know. I fucking was a fighter. I
You
tell
are.
this all the time. I'm like, I am that 0.01%
Yeah.
that was like, I'm gonna fucking live. Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, like, and then the fact that there were a lot of circumstances that led to my unlikely birth. You know, the fact that you were scheduled
Yeah.
to not have me the day that your mom,
Yeah.
sat you down, which I couldn't imagine my life
With-
without being born.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I probably would have ended up dead. I mean, I just didn't really see the world, and
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't fully aware of everything until I got pregnant with you, and it was
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah.
But can I tell you real quick a story
Yeah.
about
sure.
pregnancy?
Yeah.
Okay. So for years before I got pregnant with you, I had this reoccurring dream that I was in this beautiful ball gown and I was walking down these stairs and everyone like turned and looked up at me and was like aghast, like, and
Yeah.
I was pregnant. And
So in the dream, you knew you were pregnant.
in the dream I knew I was pregnant and everybody was shocked about it and I was in this beautiful dress. So fast forward to junior prom. I'm actually pregnant with you. I'm not showing, but I feel like I'm chubbier, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, what, 6 months, 5 months, 6 months pregnant with you?
Yeah.
And I probably just looked like
You guys had prom late.
I ate a big dinner or something. And anyway, I felt like everyone was staring at me. And I went with my best friend Bethany because your dad was already away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, he wasn't away. Maybe he just didn't have the money to go. Anyway, I went with my best friend Bethany. And I remember being in my prom dress, and I was walking down the stairs, and I saw people looking at me, and I thought, that's it. That's that recurring dream that I always had, like where people were staring at me and trying to see, like, is she showing, or you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Judging. They were
Yeah.
judging.
I mean, that's,
That was it.
high school. I think I am much, I have a soft spot for teenage moms,
And that scares me because I don't think you
I
should
mean,
have to save
it's
me
not
or
like,
anything like
no,
that.
I mean, it's not even like that. I just, whenever I see a girl who is pregnant and in high school, I know that life is difficult for people like that because I've heard your stories. Like Sadie Woodson was a girl who got pregnant. It wasn't in high school. She was pregnant right out of high school. But I sent her some inspirational stuff, like things talking about young mothers and stuff. I'd sent you the picture too, just to kind of go like, hey, like this is gonna be awesome. Because I mean, like that's the whole thing with being a young mom is you just get to, you're a young parent, you get to spend more time with your kid, or your kids get to spend more time with you,
Right.
and then you get to spend more time with your grandkids.
Right.
It's just and so and then
You are at a deficit
yeah,
in starting your life.
and so I feel like
But
people like to judge, and I'm more often than not the person that goes, well, let's not talk about them like that, because usually the people that get pregnant in high school or in their early 20s that didn't mean for it to happen usually are the people who need that. It's usually the people who need like another life to kind of bring them down to earth and go, this is what it's all about, and it's not all about you.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like that's exactly the
Yeah.
message that I got
Yeah.
when I finally was able to realize like it's not all about me.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for speaking so openly about everything, and we'll surely have you on again soon. This is an awesome interview.
Even though we talked about it a million times.
Yeah, I mean, it's just getting to give people, because this is, it's a podcast, it's an autobiography, and so I want people to know the whole story. Being, even the stuff that's not particularly great, like the almost having an abortion thing. But I mean, like it's all led to a good part, to a good thing, and thanks for not doing it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
it's definitely a trend in our life that that we're able to make the best out of
Bad situations.
what other people consider bad situations.
Yeah, true.
It's not we make the best out of it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I guess I'll plug my social media real quick before we leave, because I haven't done that in like 2 weeks. Go follow my Instagram page, Black and White Pod. Then go follow my Twitter page at Black and White Pod. There's not an A in "and" because there's not enough fucking characters to give me an A. And go like my Facebook page, Black and White, a podcast autobiography. Don't forget, I'm gonna have a DVD coming out here within the next couple months, and I'll be selling that on my website. So be on the lookout for advertisements for that and stuff. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Mama.
Thank you for having me.
Love you too. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye.